Hello, welcome to the very last episode of Series 2 of Loose Links. Wow, what a journey it's been. But join us as we celebrate our office party with you guys, talking about all the good parts, hopefully, about Loose Links. All that on tonight's show. Hello, joining me for the very last time on Series 2, joining me, Nicholas James, is Sandra Overton.
Hello.
Sanjay Hitwell.
Hi.
Claire Brownie May.
Hi.
Sue Craven.
Hi.
Matt Caunter.
Hi.
Sue Humphreys.
Hello.
And Rachel Panic.
Hello.
As we discuss tonight our favourite moments on Loose Links, I'm kind of worried, and also we talk about if we had to describe ourselves as panellists to somebody out there that may be interested, what would we say? And what has 2021 to 2020 taught us as people? All that and a lot more on this week's Loose Links. Good evening, panel!
Hello.
Good evening! Welcome to the Loose Links party. You are joining us for our very... I've paid lots of money for this party, honestly, guys. You best appreciate it. It's come out my bank like I don't know what. But you're joining our end of series party. Can you believe it? Can I ask that first before we go into it? Can you believe that we're on the end of series 2? How amazing is that?
Pretty good.
This year has flown by. This year has flown by so quickly.
It's been incredible, hasn't it? It's been such an incredible journey. And to think that also, I'm going into the show already and I shouldn't, so I will revert back in a minute. But also, I've met people that I never thought I'd meet in my life. Do you know what I mean? Doing this has made me meet new people and socialise a bit more and help me through lockdown. So to each and every one of you, even to the people that couldn't make it this evening, thank you, because you've each been my support through lockdown and you've gave me a focus to keep going. So thank you very much.
Ditto, Nick. Ditto.
You're welcome.
Oh, thanks, Rachel, the only one that said it. Can I just resort in last week's polls? Let's just say what last week's polls were before we start tonight's, well, I would say show, but I would say more like party now, really. Lincolnshire has many buildings and featured to be proud with hundreds of years of history. Are you proud to live in Lincolnshire? It was a 50-50. 50 of you said yes, 50 of you said no. Also, we talked about oh, sorry, that's the wrong result. Sorry, forgot to press the top. It was 80% of you said yes, 20% of you said no. Sorry.
That's better.
That's completely
That sounds better, doesn't it?
Protesting, does it actually work and make a difference to the cause? Sue Humphrey, does it?
What was that? Protesting? Oh, don't go. Let's not go there. We'd have a whole nother show.
7% of you said no, 43% of you said yes. And the last poll was, has the pandemic helped you to discover your own kitchen abilities to turn out decent food and ditch the takeaway? 50-50 of you said yes.
Wow.
No. So there's a bit of a mixed thing there. So this evening, thank you for joining us for our party. We are very loose this evening because alcohol is involved, but we'll see what our panellists have to say. So we're going to discuss on the first topic, and it's about someone jumping on it, really, someone taking the first leap to answer this question. But what has been your favourite moment on Loose Links? Go on, Sue.
Meeting new people and having a good debate about different things. Even if we don't all agree, it's been brilliant. We've agreed to disagree and I've really enjoyed that.
Do you enjoy? Do you think you enjoy debate more, Claire, since joining Loose Links?
Sort of. Well, I have actually been on some of the topics which were very hot. Do you know what I mean? So, and I'm not really an outspoken person, as you know, because I'm very quiet. Although it has brought me out my shell a bit, which again is further along the questions. Yeah.
Right, good answer. Sandra, what has been your favourite moment on the show?
Oh, I don't know really. I've enjoyed every show I've been on. I can't really think I can pick out any one specific thing. I've been trying to think, but no, I've just enjoyed all of it. And like Sue said, it's enjoyable to meet other people, and also to know that either people disagree with you or agree with you, and hear other people's views.
Yeah.
And to also say as well, Sandra, you're not a very outspoken woman, are you? So that's brought you out your shell a little bit, being on this.
Yes, I'm a very shy person, aren't I?
You don't say very much. What about you, Kat? Have you got a favourite moment of being on the show?
Well, I'd agree with everybody else, you know, the meeting new people. However, I'd say as well that one of my favourite bits, it's sort of, you know, it's two things, two moments. So one was right at the start of this show, and the other was right at the start of the last show I was on.
Right, go on.
And that would be that a certain Nick has learnt from the first few shows of how to say my name properly.
I can say your name at last. She's been called many names.
We still don't know who I am. I know I'm a newbie, but you still don't know who I am.
You're just Oppo.
You're Oppo.
Oppo Chull.
What was your other favourite moment, Kat?
That was, you know, it's sort of those two bits at the start. That's what I was meaning at the start of the two shows.
Just mentioning your names.
Yeah.
Come on then, Rachel Penny, let's hear your favourite moment.
Well, my favourite moment every time I come on is logging on properly and coming in when I'm supposed to. That time when it was a takeout, where it was not my favourite bit, but it was the funniest, where I just couldn't keep my straight face and you just saw a chair. But I enjoy debate because it makes you think about things that you don't normally think about.
Do you think you enjoyed it, like I said before to somebody else, I can't remember now, the alcohol's already kicking in, but do you think it's helped you become more outspoken being on this show, giving your opinion and your view? Was you a person before that wouldn't be as outspoken if you hadn't have joined this project?
I sit and listen, but I when somebody asks you a question, they want an answer, don't they? Not everybody wants an answer, but I usually give them it. But I am known to be. It's either, my brother says it's either your way or no way. I'm a little bit bossy. Well, I'm not bossy, but I know what to do. I know how to do things. So if I know,
you're just very forward. You're very forward and very blunt and to the point.
Blunt? I'm not
blunt. In the nicest way. I like people like that because I don't like people that beat about the bush when they're trying to tell me something. It's like, just tell me straight.
And that, I think, comes down to being confident in oneself.
Definitely.
It's all about confidence. It's not, I wouldn't say it's about being bossy, but you're confident in what you believe in. And yes, and you know, a lot of people, they don't like it when you voice your opinion unless you're saying what they want you to say. They want you to agree. And if you don't agree, they think that you're being funny or disagreeing with them. And we are all entitled to our view. And like Sue said earlier, with the panel, we have all agreed to disagree.
Yeah.
I think that's Sue made a valid point there, that we have agreed to disagree. And that's what the panel is all about, isn't it?
Yeah, and an opinion is an opinion. It's not a right or a wrong, is it? So
no, absolutely not. No, absolutely.
your life's experience is give you your opinion of how you handle life. So
well, I think this has helped me do that, because I wasn't, as you know, I never disagree on the show. I'm quite an agreeable person in everything that we say.
Try to be neutral.
But I think this project has helped me do that. Has helped me expand. Actually, I'm going to stand up what I think. What about you, Sue Humphrey? Have you had a favourite moment on the show?
I liked it when you had a special guest on. I think we had a young man on, didn't we, who was a singer once?
Yes.
And that was really special, and he was lovely, and he had a lovely story to tell, so that was quite interesting. Yeah. But just like everyone else, it's just getting to know other people, even if you don't know them in person, although I know Kat's mom. Yeah, just and listening to other people's opinions and hopefully broadening your horizons.
Yeah. So you look like you're actually hiding behind that wine glass.
She does, doesn't she?
There we are.
Massive.
She's hiding behind her. Right, for a bit of that, we're having laughter and serious. I've tried to make a bit of a mix. So my second question to you is, as you know, the last 18 months has been one of the hardest times in our lifetimes, all of our lifetimes, really. Sandra, let's come over to you first. I want to ask you, what has been the hardest thing for you in the year of 2020 to 2021? What has been the most difficult?
Well, the hardest thing for me has not been able to mix with family, and particularly although I've got an ex, we are still friendly, and I feel for him because he's desperate to see our great-grandchildren. And he saw our last, no, well, not our late grandchild, because I've just had another grandchild who's now 6 weeks old.
Congratulations!
She's 6 weeks, so I've got 3 now. But my second great-granddaughter was born on the 9th of January, and my ex flew back on the 10th, and he didn't see her, and it's just FaceTiming and pictures and photographs, and he thinks that he's really outdone, but so have I, because the first part, of course, we had 2 lockdowns this last year, didn't we? And I wasn't able to spend time with her at all, and I really, really missed that. I would say I missed being able to spend time with all family, not just great-grandchildren, but all my family.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah. What about you? What has been the hardest thing over the last 18 months for you? Oh, we lost Sam. Oh no, she's there.
I know there's some noise in the background, so I didn't quite hear what you said. So yeah.
What has been the most hardest thing for you in the last 18 months?
I think for me, a lot of it has been my mental health. I've struggled with my mental health this year. And it's like when we did a topic on the women's mental health centre, that I was on that show, and it kind of hit home for me because obviously back in March I had 2 breakdowns at the beginning of March, and I've had other stuff now lately as well, so which has kind of messed with my mental health. So I think for me it's just kind of like trying to figure out how to just have me time, just to spend on me, to work on my mental health and work on just being able to do what I want to do, kind of thing, So for me this year, it's the hardest thing for me this year has been my mental health. It has been hard.
Thank you for sharing that, Sam. Claire, let's go to you. What's been the most hardest thing for you in the last 18 months?
Well, I think like with a lot of people, it is about seeing family. They live about 20 miles away. So, during normal times, with me working now full time and that, I don't get to see them as much anyway. And I think the lifeline really has been that I've still been into work, with working in a school. That really helped me. And I think the kids quite enjoyed not being at school, my 2. So, it is really just the family thing.
Thank you for sharing that. What about you, Sue Craven? What's been the most hardest thing in the 18 months?
It's been family. It has been family, because I used to look after my grandchildren, and I've had them all until they went up to school, only 1 or 2 days a week to fit in with my work. And my littlest one, the last one of the 6, I'd got her, and I couldn't have her for all, it's been nearly a year, and it was so hard, and I felt we missed out on so much. Her parents were very, very nervous about it, so we couldn't even, they didn't even really want to meet. So it used to be at the window. We used to go every week to the window and take bits and things like that. I think that was the hardest thing, and I think it's knowing people I know as well and care about who have had to be in isolation. And I feel for them, because, okay, it's fine. You can talk to them on FaceTime, you can speak to them, but actually having that human contact, that hug, and that, and just being able to see them, I think that's it, and I felt for a lot of people, I think it has been a tough year.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Sue. What about you, Kat? What's been the hardest for you?
I'd say similar to Sam, the sort of mental health struggles, but mine were particularly sort of around work. Because I was unfortunate at the start of lockdown. I before lockdown even started, I secured a new job, was quite happy, and thinking it was going to lead to good things. Changed, started the new job on I think it was the 16th of March, 2020. And then COVID hit, and the government said release the furlough scheme, but you had to have been working at a place. You had to have your paycheck from from the 28th of February, which I didn't have. And because of COVID, they didn't have any work, and I was still in my probation period, so lost that job.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't really managed to get back into the sector I was working in. I've been driving around for a well-known pizza company instead.
There's many of us available.
Yeah. But then sort of, when jobs are opening back up, kind of there's part of me that wants to, dealing with then the sort of like struggle of wanting to get back into, say, like doing something I like, but also throughout lockdown, I've realised, sort of like the quality of spending time with my partner's children and having family time, and then just kind of having a bit of turmoil about, what I sort of like actually want to do in regards to work or, and family, and trying to find, a balance.
Completely get that. Thank you for sharing that, Kat. What about you, Sue Humphrey? What have you found the most difficult in the last 18 months?
Not having choir.
Yeah.
I mean, family goes without saying, but not having choir has been really, really hard. I mean, we've had choir, but it's not quite the same singing your heart out in your living room on your own as it is with 70 people.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I take my hat off to, our musical director and his wife. They've done a brilliant job. And we've actually made some really good music. So
good. That's a good
thing. And again, that's a lifesaver, isn't it? It has been for me anyway.
What about you, Rachel Penny? What has been the most difficult thing for you in the last 18 months?
Well, you want to make me cry, don't you? So I'm not going to say anything about anything that's negative, because too much negativity has hit everybody. Losing people and health and wealth. So I think what the most disappointing thing for me is noticing that I'm so grey on here and looking like a favourite.
Yeah, I know that one. I've got my badger stripe look. I've got my badger stripe.
Yeah, well, you're still useful, you are, Sam. But no, I think I came here on in the January, I think. So I'm quite a newbie on here. So this has been a good thing that happened. And also, the best thing that happened was last November, my daughter gave birth to a little boy called Alfie.
Oh,
and Roy is absolutely gorgeous. And so that's a big thing that came out of it. And so you've got to be grateful for things, I think.
I think, and bouncing off that a little bit, my first exciting thing to say is I had a nephew born. So I had Freddie born. He came into my life, and he's been incredible since, and he's helped me through lockdown. But I think I'm going to turn a negative into a positive. So, and that doesn't very often happen for me. But as you know, a couple of years ago, I've suffered. Many people have talked about suffering with mental health on the panel. I still suffer with mental health. I think mental health is going to be part of my journey for the rest of my life. I've been given a diagnosis. I don't really want to share the diagnosis, but what I found incredible is I feel like I'd already had a taster of lockdown by being in a hospital ward. By being in a hospital ward where people looked after me. And I was confined to 4 walls. And I feel that actually I'm grateful for that today, because if I hadn't have gone through that a couple of years ago, I don't think I would have coped with lockdown at all. But because of being in a house and being on my own and having to survive and work and all of that, I've done it all thanks to the mental health services. So I want to say a massive thank you for everybody that treated me, that came to visit me, that looked after me, that looked out for me, because I don't think I would be here today without every single one of them. So thank you. Don't want to make anybody cry. But moving on to the next topic. What topic have you found the most interesting, and why? Let's go to you first, Claire.
Well, like I say, I think that all of them are interesting, but I think for me would have been the Meghan and Harry.
Oh my word! What a conversation!
Oh gosh, yeah, that was an interesting topic. So yes, I think
that's when we got most heated. Really, I think that was the most heated time that we got on the show ever.
Yes,
exhausted me. It really did. I'm pleased I wasn't doing the polls then. May I just butt in and quickly ask a question, Nick?
Yes.
Would you be up for a little surprise if I disappeared on air, or would you want to wait till after?
Can we wait till after? I don't really like the sound.
On air.
On air. Come on, on air. On air.
I will leave you for a moment.
Okay, I'll carry on with the show. I like normal. What about you, Sandra Overton? What has been your most favourite part of it? I'm shaking now. That's put me off. What has been your most favourite topic on these links?
I don't know really. I've enjoyed them all really. I can't think
Sandra, you're full of conversation today.
I can't think of any specific item really. I've just enjoyed the discussions.
What about you then, Sue Craven? Has there been a favourite topic of yours?
Yes, I wasn't actually invited on this programme. I'll just tell you that. But I loved when you had the mums on. And I loved that. And to see your mum on as well. Oh, Nick, I loved that. I think that was one of the highlights for me. I really enjoyed that.
I'll tell you something though, Sue. Claire will tell you, and Rachel would tell you as well if she was on, that she said to me, every single time, I don't want to answer a question, I'm going to pinch your leg. Every time she pinched my leg, I went, what do you think, Mum?
Oh, bless her.
But I've never seen her so nervous in all my life.
The thing is, with that episode, I was trying to get my daughter to do it with me. She's like, no, I'm not doing that. I was like, right, I'll ask my mum. And Mum was like, oh, no, I don't do that kind of thing. Oh, no. And I'm like, cheers, guys.
What about you, Sue Craven? Sue Humphrey, sorry. Has there been, told you mine's hitting my head. Has there been a favourite topic for you?
There's been a favourite. Last week's was quite lively, though. For me, it was quite lively. And, you know, it did sort of shift away from protest to a particular cause for protest.
Yes.
But actually, isn't it funny when you're sometimes talking through things like that and discussing things, it actually makes you think more about them?
I sort of pushed you in the corner a little bit, though. I did force it out.
But it was good because it made me actually think about it a bit more, and I'm all for that, because you tend to, well, I think as you get older you get a bit blasé about stuff. Well, I do, unless it's something really close to home. And that was close to home.
Yeah, exactly. And we, here on Loose Linc, we try and make every pathway available. So as Sue Craven shared with us all tonight before the show started, I will share with you today that our chosen charity this year is Age UK, and that's why we've got.
I said I was going to. He said, "Are you wearing your party clothes?" I said, "Are you coming?" I said, "Of course I am. I've told you." He said, "Are you dressed up?" I said, "No, I'm in pajamas." And he said, "That's okay. I'll just tell everybody that we're helping out for the care of the elderly." I said, "Okay." And I'm not in my pajamas, I hasten to add.
Smile anyway, it made me smile. Kat, has there been a favourite topic of yours?
No, necessarily about a favourite topic, but I know I enjoyed doing. There was the Valentine's Day special episode this year, and then also there was the one where it was to do with like women's rights. I think it was for International Women's Day, and I enjoyed doing that episode as well.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for sharing that. What about you, Sam? Has there been a favourite topic of yours?
I quite enjoyed it when we had Miss Lincolnshire on.
Yes, I thought she was.
That was awesome. We're all in our tiaras, and I had my lovely, luscious long wig on, and I'm all dolled up and everything. So
I tell you about my tiara that I had to add. I thought to myself that I've told every panelist to wear a tiara, and I hadn't bought one. And I thought to myself, I can't be the only. I've told everybody to go out and buy one, and I haven't got one. So I went into this well-known shop. I won't say the shop, and I found this tiara, and I thought, oh, that's quite a nice one. So I took it to the counter. I didn't look at the price. Took it to the counter. She said that'll be £20, please. And I went, you got something cheaper. Because it's literally just for one night. It's literally just for one night.
I borrowed mine off my niece.
Well, I'm going to wait a little bit because I want Rachel back on screen when I say this next question. But what memory has been the funniest moment on Loose Linc for you so far? What have you found the most hilarious? Let's go to you first, Sue Humphrey. Can I also say that you don't have to be on the show? It's not a show that you have to be on. You may have watched the show and found it funny, but what has been the most funniest moment for you?
Well, I think it was just about, where are we now? I think it was about half an hour ago, 50 minutes ago, when we were all sitting here waiting, and here we go, we're all sitting here.
And then you got Rachel's name wrong.
There's no flipping host.
And then you got Rachel's name wrong, didn't you?
It just turned itself off, completely turned itself off and shut itself down. And I was getting so... The amount of swear words that were coming out of my mouth, you would not have been a happy panel.
Good job you were on mute then.
Yeah, exactly. What about you, Claire Browning Bay? Has it been the most funniest moment for you?
All of them. I think, well, I say funny. It's not funny really for you. It's like when you cock up at the beginning, you know, and it's like we're on record, and it's like no, start again, and like we're going, oh, here we go. And we had about 3 runs at it.
Well, I've got 2, so I'm going to share one of them now. We had this big heated debate about Meghan and Harry, and we talked about the week before, Piers Morgan storming off stage and disappearing into the background. And then it looked like Sue Craven did it the following week.
I knew you were going to say that. Darker and darker and darker. So just wait to put the light on.
You didn't even she just walked off. What about you, Sue Craven? Has there been a funny moment for you?
I think now I go with Claire. It's always when you're going to be number one and you're going to come in, write it down, it's this, and you're going to do number two, and then are you ready? 3, 2, 1, oh no, we're not ready. And I had to get the giggles. Then I can't switch myself on.
Yeah.
It's fine, it's weeks to it. I'm coming! I'm coming! What about you, Kat? Has there been a funny moment for you?
I think sort of following on from Sue and Claire, it was the last episode I was on just before we were, sort of the first take, where you were talking about the Euros and introduced it as Eurovision.
Yeah.
Which I think most football players would have absolutely loved.
I honestly said it and I didn't realise it. And then Kat messaged me and went, right, we're going to have to start. It is in the outtakes. We're going to have to start again because I've said Eurovision instead of Euros. So what about you, Sandra? Has it been a funny moment for you?
Well, a funny moment for me is always when you bring up about me looking for my millionaire. You brought that up. That was quite amusing, really.
Well, I'm still on the search. I'm still on the search for this millionaire with a yacht.
Right, that's all right. Then.
With a lot of money. What about you, Sam? Has there been a funny moment for you?
Well, there was one episode that we did that was that was for the YouTube channel, and was trying to do our entry like walking on, and something always happened. We had to do about 4 or 5 takes. One point, my dog was barking in the other room, so all she could hear from my end was my dog barking at somebody at the door, and then someone else did something else, and it took us about 4 or 5 attempts just to get it right. And by the end of it, we were just like wetting ourselves laughing because we just couldn't contain ourselves. But I found that rather amusing. We had to go getting up, sitting down, getting up, sitting down.
And let me just check something. Sorry, this is very, very unprofessional, but Rachel's been a very long time, and I'm kind of worried that she can't get back on. No, there's no message from her. One of my funniest moments has to be, and none of you know about this, and she's absolutely going to kill me for telling this story, but I phoned Rachel one night and I said to Rachel, we've got a panelist meeting, can you cover? And she said, yeah. What's the time? And this was something like 5 to 7. And I said, 7 o'clock. You've only got 5 minutes. And she went, yeah, that's fine. And she sat down and she did the whole show without a pair of trousers on. Because she didn't have time. Without trousers on. So she was sat in the kitchen with a top on, just in a pair of knickers. Sue Craven, we've lost it. Oh, you're there. Just in a pair of knickers. But it gets worse because we get halfway through the show and her son walks in. From the front door, and all she does is point. You can't see it, she's very professional, she's like this, pointing to the other room to get him into the garden, so the whole family went into the garden while we were recording the show.
Oh dear.
And she finally ran upstairs to put a pair of trousers on at the end of it.
I bet that scarred the family for life, didn't it?
No, it's a good job we wasn't live. That's all I can say. It's a good job that we wasn't live on the stage. We've all got special people in our lives, and especially after this year, it's been a really difficult year. If you could mention one person that has stood out for you this year, and you give them a bit of a shout out this evening, who would it be and why? Why has that person been absolutely incredible, and why do you want to give them a shout out? Let's go to you first, Sue Craven.
Mine would be my daughter. She's been working all through COVID at the hospital. She's a nurse. She was made redundant. Well, not made redundant. Well, she was from her night job. So she went out into the community because she's a children's nurse. She contracted COVID on herself. she's got 2 boys and she's on her own. She nursed them and her, and then she nursed her father for 6 weeks at home until he went into hospital and then died. And she doesn't complain. She's just up at the showground at the moment, jabbing on her days off.
Wow.
So it'd be my daughter.
Can you give her a big shout out and wave to her and give her a big kiss?
I will. I'll tell her to look at it. She'll say, "Oh, mother, I love you. Well done."
So, Humphrey, who would your big shout out be and why?
I think it's my daughter and my now son-in-law, because right at the beginning of the pandemic, they had a whole new life planned. They moved out from Hackney to the Forest of Dean, and Catherine carried on working. So that was right at the beginning of the first lockdown. Catherine carried on working remotely in her old job, and then she left her old job to work in the business. And they moved into a cottage that they found needed a lot more doing to it than they thought. The business disappeared. You know, they had every problem that the pandemic could throw at you, really. And they planned to get married.
Did they get married?
They did get married, and I just take my hat off to them both, actually, because so Catherine and Barn, well done you two. You did get married, and we had a lovely weekend, and it was exactly what was right for you. And you've just come through all this. I just take my hat off to you because they've just done so well.
You want to give them a wave and a big kiss?
I did. Love to you both.
What about you, Claire Brown and May? Is there a special shout out that you'd like to give somebody?
Going to be to my mum, who we had on the mum's. Well, it should have been my daughter, but she then refused, so I got my mum. So we travelled. Millie came with me, which was the funny part, as in she wouldn't come on the show. My mum, bless her, her husband passed away 3 years ago, so she's been on her own. I mean, I live the furthest. I live 20 miles, but my other siblings, I've got two of my brothers and a sister who live quite close. But I really miss my mum because we have been close. Like I say, there's a few of us, but I was always what she would say was the rock, because my stepdad didn't go out. She used to work at a place, and when they went on work dues, it would be me, which would be the +1. So I was the jiver, and we'd go everywhere together, you know, and I really miss that now. And again, she's getting older, so her jiving days are finished because she's got a few helpful hips, or should I say not so helpful now. So it's my mum.
So would you give her a wave and a big kiss?
Hi, mummy, love you.
What about you, Sandra Overton? Is there a special person that you'd like to shout out?
Oh, yeah, mine's got to be my next door neighbour, Mary Jane. I think I mentioned her once before. When it was the previous Loose Lincolnshire, I mentioned her because you were doing awards then, weren't you? Which all got disbanded, and she never got that. But that's all another story. But she's been there for me. She checks on me every day. She's done all my shopping. I mean, my daughters have been good and done what they could, but they've had COVID and they were cut off like everybody else. But no, Mary Jane's she's my rock. Well, she's like a daughter to me. She's young enough to be my daughter, and she is, and we have a good relationship, good friendship, and I don't know. There have been times when I don't know what I'd have done without her. I can bounce things off her, talk to her, and you can't always discuss some of your things with your family. You don't always want, and sometimes you want somebody who is sitting on the fence, because they might give you a different view and make you think differently.
Yes.
So mine would be Mary Jane, my next door neighbour.
Are you going to give her a wave and a big kiss?
Yes. Well done, Mary Jane, and thanks for everything.
Oh,
yeah.
What about you, Sam? Is there someone special that you'd like to shout out for?
I would say my daughter, because during the first lockdown, she was in year 11 and she should have taken her exams, but they were cancelled. So she's been, she was like all geared up to do these exams, and they were getting them ready for these exams, they're doing the mocks and everything. And because she has problems with the joints, I was sort of getting things in place to help her with the exams, to make it easier for her. And then for them to cancel the exams after we did all that work to try and sort it out, and I think she was a bit deflated. And then she went into year 12, which she's just finished. And it was the same again with her mock exams as well. They couldn't do the exams safely, so they did the same as they did with the year 11s. So she was a bit. So she's had to do like basically homeschooling from. Can I
just pause you? I don't like this. Right? Can I just pause you a second?
Okay.
Everyone.
Yeah.
That's Rachel at the door with his family, his mum, his sister, and his new one. They're going to come in and we're going to sing happy birthday to him.
Oh.
I'm glad someone else knows, because I didn't.
It's just Rachel just asked me to sort of be this is what's happening.
All right.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So when he comes back in, I don't know if they'll all come on his screen or if Rachel will get hers. We're just going to sing happy birthday to him.
It just had to happen when I was talking about Alicia, didn't it?
Well, you can go again.
We can carry on and talk about Alicia. She sounds amazing. I don't know how they've coped with it all, actually.
No, I don't know how she's coped. She's spent a lot of time in her bedroom doing all her learning and doing everything online, and she's struggled with it. Yeah. And she's also struggled with not having her friends around either.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
And also her girlfriend. She struggled not seeing her girlfriend as well. So she doesn't.
Hold on.
Not done well.
I can hear him in the background.
I'm here.
Hello.
Hey! Thank you. Oh, my sister's here as well. Hold on. Oh, is he? This is a bit of a bad recording.
This is chaos. Oh dear. No, and it's like anything, isn't it? If you're doing something on your own.
Balloon! Helium balloon!
People.
Yes. Are you ready? This is the first time ever. Get ready for this. Get ready. 1, 2, 3.
Oh. Hey! Hello!
Look at it! I know, he's going to say hello to you all.
Oh,
aren't you gorgeous?
I'm not feeling broody, honest.
Oh, you're gorgeous. Look, oh my word. Look at this.
It did say anchor on it, but it was dribbled off.
Look at this.
Oh, nice.
Thank you so much.
Oh my God, I'm jealous. I want
Well, just to let you know, it's my birthday tomorrow.
We know.
So, ladies, are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Nick. Happy birthday to you.
Hey.
Good boy. Right, I'll see them off and then I'll be back on. Talk to yourselves in a minute.
Right. Well done, Rachel.
Eddie, aren't you?
Oh, look at him.
Gorgeous, isn't he?
My little star. Go on then, go and find Mummy.
He's gorgeous, isn't he? He's gorgeous, isn't he?
You can see why he's besotted, can't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Like I said, I'm not getting broody, honest.
Right, sorry, back to normal now, We're going to have to find you a chair.
Oh, the sharing.
Oh.
Welcome. Well, I'm a bit lost now. I don't know what to do now.
Going back to Sam.
I was talking about my daughter.
Yes, your daughter.
Yeah, Alicia. Yeah, she's had to, you know, she's been doing all the school at home and everything, and I think, you know, like I said, well, when you were gone, I think she was struggling with not being able to see her friends, and not being able to see her girlfriend, and you know, it's like in February, it's her and it's my daughter's anniversary with her girlfriend in February, and her girlfriend sent a bunch of flowers to her in the post. And I'm like, I never get sent flowers. She's got a bunch of flowers from her girlfriend. I'm just like, I never get flowers. What the hell? So, you know, I think that brightened her up and that cheered her up a bit. You know, cheered her up a lot. So she's, you know, I'm proud of how far she's come despite everything that's happened at school and with her learning. She doesn't take to change very well. She struggles with change. So yeah, it's been very challenging for her, and I'm proud of her for, you know, getting through it the way she has and how she has as well. I'm very proud of how she's done things.
Oh, thanks for sharing that. What about you, Rachel? Is there a special? We look like husband and wife, don't we?
I've done my job.
Is there a special person that you would like to say a big shout out to for this year?
Yes, my daughter and Terry. My daughter Julia and Terry for giving me a beautiful grandson, and my friend Michelle, who's been my absolute hero all year, and all my friends, Karen. I've only got friends called Karen. So
Have you?
Karen.
Yeah,
Right,
Karen.
Yeah, so
I'm not called Karen.
No, I know, but you're a one-off.
Yeah, he is.
I'm a one-off. That's right, Sue Craven, isn't it? That's right. Right, I'm a bit lost now, guys.
Can I say mine?
Yeah, Karen.
Who's your shout outers?
Yeah, so I'd have to say my mum. She's been through a lot. She's suffering with cancer at the moment. Has to go to the hospital every month, you know, 1 week of every month for the rest of her life. She's also dealing with my dad, who's got dementia, and dealing with basically a grumpy old man with no memory, and things keep getting put on the metaphorical roof, according to him. So deals with stuff sort of like going missing throughout her house. She's supporting me and my partner when the schools were closed for lockdown, you know, this year. On the days that my partner and I had our kids, she helped us home because my partner was working, so she helped me homeschool the children. Doing sort of like, you know, the schools had the lessons, but she was sat there with my stepdaughter doing, you know, helping her with her work, making sure she did it all on time and actually concentrated, and been helping us with all the dog walking, and just generally, you know, despite everything she's going through, has been there for us all.
Oh, that's so sweet. Big kiss and big shout out to them.
Yeah, bless her. To your mum. Cheers.
Mine has to be, believe it or not, it's been 18 years now, but mine has to be my best friend. My best friend, Loose Linc, has been an amazing best friend for as many years as I can remember, and he really has turned into like a brother, an older brother that I've never had really, that I can talk to and stuff like that. So my big shout out is to him. Thank you very much for your love and support over the years. I'm most grateful. Thank you. If you had to explain to somebody that had never done this before, how would you explain being a panel member? Let's go to you first, Claire. What would you say is being a panel member?
Don't do it. Well, like I've said many a time, I am quite quiet. And when I first got asked to come on this show by a friend who I've known since little children, I thought, nah, and I chickened out because I just thought I can't do that. But coming onto it, you're just looking at a screen and it's like 4 or 5 people, and that's what you're looking at. You know, you meet new people and getting to know new people, but you don't realise that there's a few thousand people that then is going to watch you. Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. It's good fun.
Oh, thanks, Claire. Apart from pardon. I've got my hand up and back and everything. What about you, Sue Humphrey? If you had to talk to somebody about being a panel member, how would you describe it?
It's challenging sometimes, it's good to have your opinions challenged. But the nicest thing is that there's space for everyone to express their views.
Yeah.
And there's no judgment, and there's no, we might disagree, but there's no judgment. And I mean, I consider everybody who's on screen tonight and other people that I've been on a panel with that I've never met actually in person. But, I think we're all friends, which is great.
What about you, Sue Craven? Apart from supporting our charity this year, how would you describe being a panel member of Loose Lincs?
I think I will agree with Sue Humphrey. I will agree. And I've loved getting to know Sandra and her direct. She has a direct way of talking, and Sandra, but she will listen, and she'll either agree to disagree, or she'll agree with you. And I've really enjoyed the lively debate, really, I think. And I think it's been really good. And the laughs have been good. Sometimes when it's been a long day and you feel tired, or you've had a bit of bad news and whatever, you think, but then you do it and you think how good it is.
Oh, thanks, Sue. What about you, Richard? How would you describe being a panel member?
Well, I've quite enjoyed it, actually. It's just been a little bit of a distraction, I think, to life, and to meet all these new ladies and all from all walks of life. And did you fall off your chair, Claire? I just noticed.
She did what I did, but I noticed you didn't say anything to her.
Claire, you just walked off.
What? I'm so sorry. I just went.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Sorry. Say that again, please, Rachel.
No, it's all right. I was just wondering why I thought you'd fallen off your chair. But
yeah.
I would like a glass like Sue Craven has got, because that looks like a goldfish bowl.
Isn't it nice? It's lovely.
Yeah.
Panel, if we had to go round, I'm going to really put you on the spot now. If we had to go round and choose somebody as your favourite panel member, who would it be?
Oh, that's awful.
Right, here we go.
That's
So,
awful. You can't do
you
that.
Can't do
can have
that.
a favourite panel member. You can have somebody as a viewer as a favourite panel member. So if you had to choose as a viewer, not on the show, but as a viewer when you're not on the show, who is your favourite panel member?
Can I just say, I do enjoy having debates with Georgina.
Georgina is your favourite.
I've had debates with her, and when we've had debates and that, she is so funny with that. I love her. She's brilliant.
Oh, so Sam, yours is, thank you for sharing that. What about you, Sue? Have you got a favourite panel member?
Which Sue?
Sue Humphrey.
Cat's dog. Definitely making a valued contribution to tonight's show.
What about you, Sandra Overton? Have you got somebody that stands out for you?
Not really.
Well, we're all being too nice.
Well, it's very difficult, but to reiterate what Sue said about we had a good debate and we got on okay. I mean, I've not met everybody and not been on the panel with every single person, and I think it's a very, very difficult question to answer.
That's just a cop out, Sue.
It's difficult.
I love Mike Curtis.
Oh.
I think he's lovely because he bounces off everybody's question. He sorts the question out, and he's not confrontational, but he gets his point across.
No,
and he's just lovely.
Well, I think
I remember that I was on with, so I remember him.
The question is, does Nick have a favourite? He's not supposed to have favourites.
Of course not. I don't have a favourite. What about you, Sue Craven? Who's your favourite?
Claire, because she's very calm. I like being on with Sandra because we can have a good old banter. Claire, she's the sort of, we're like this, and she's the sort of steadying influence. I like being on with Claire.
Oh, Claire, there you go,
Yeah.
love. Well, Claire went.
Claire is prepared.
And Suzanne was good. I mean, Suzanne's not on now, but Suzanne was always good. You could always have a good.
Paul, big shout out to you.
Oh, hi,
Suzanne
Suzanne.
Paul.
How are you doing?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I do need to share with you that we shared your non-trouser moment on the show this evening.
Did you say it all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just hope you're wearing some now.
I'm not. I've got a skirt on.
Do you think Loose Links has changed you as a person? Do you think Loose Links has made you a more confident person? Do you think Loose Links has made you a more understandable person, a more topic debate person? Has the Loose Links changed you at all? Let's go to you firstly, Craven. Has it changed you?
No, I don't think it has really, but it's been good to debate. That's what it's done for me. It's been able to meet new people, and I'd love to meet them in the flesh one day.
Oh,
and it's been good to debate.
Yeah.
With
What about you,
people.
Claire Brown, in there? Has it changed you as a person?
No, I'm still very quiet. A little bit, I think. It has brought me out my shell, I think. But again, I'm just talking to you. You know, I'm just talking to this lovely picture of people who I've never met. You know, and I don't realise that I'm talking to like lots and lots of people. But a little bit, I have stuck up for myself a bit more than I would have done. I'm not saying no more. Yeah, a bit more.
What about you, Kat? Has it changed you as a person being a panel member?
I don't think so necessarily. I think it's, I don't know whether it's changed me as to how I used to be, but it's given me sort of like a purpose, sort of like purpose throughout lockdown in a sense.
Yeah.
A reason to put my makeup on in the evening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has completely changed me as a person. I've got to say it's really done wonders for me. I wouldn't have been able to do this 2 years ago, and I don't know if there's a skill to hosting, but I don't know if it just comes out every week. I don't have a written thing next to me. I just look at the topics and go through it. And I've really enjoyed that. I've really enjoyed leading conversation. Believe me, behind the screen, there's 1,000 things going off in my head every time there's a discussion. Has someone spoke too much? Have we not got someone else talking? Do we need to talk about the other side of the big debate? But I wouldn't have been able to do that without all of you guys, and without all of you guys jumping in and being part of it as well. So thank you. It has changed me completely as a person.
Can I say something, Nick, quick?
Go on, Sue.
I think it's saved you. I think it's given you a purpose, and it's made you so much more confident, and it's given you a purpose. I'm thankful for that, for you.
I second that, Sue. I second that.
Definitely. I agree.
I'll third that.
There we are.
Anybody want to forfeit?
I think we're all in agreement here, aren't we?
No,
Yeah.
It's definitely been a lifeline.
Oh, I have got a lucky mascot that sits next to me.
Definitely
I
been a
don't have
lifeline.
one kind of bird, I have many kinds of birds. I really do. Do you think it's a good example, the show, on the importance of talking and why we need to talk more? Do you think it leads by example? Let's go to you first, Sandra. Do you think it's a good example to speak out and to start talking about how you actually feel?
Yes, and I think it shows people that we can have our own opinions and we can discuss it logically and friendly. We don't fall out. We're happy to accept other people's point of view.
Definitely.
Yes, it's good.
What about you, Claire? Do you think it's a good example of sharing and talking and being able to speak? Do you think that we touch people's hearts in the topics that we have conversations about?
I think so, yeah, definitely. you know, I live on my own, as you know, with 2 children. I've been on my own many a year. And I think, you know, a show like this that brings up lots of different topics, and then somebody can just sit and play it over and over again if they need to. I think that's really nice, you know, and again, since lockdown, mental health has been, you know, for a lot of people. And I think that the debates that we make, if we could actually sort of share what we're feeling, it might help somebody else if they're feeling in that same situation.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Claire. What about you, Sue Humphrey? Do you think that we are making and trying to make a difference?
I think it's certainly made a difference to me, as one of the other members of the Age UK says, who lives on her own, but you know, has a reasonable, with church and choir and everything else and friends outside, has a reasonably sociable life. I mean, I'm not clubbing 3 nights a week, but you know what I mean, I'm not isolated. But because I'm of an older generation, it's a real temptation to get very set in your ways. And it's been really helpful, because your life, as you get older, you will find this out, Nick, after tomorrow. As you get older, your life actually tends to get a bit narrower. You know, you don't have that same outward looking way about you quite so much. I think it can do, unless you work really hard at not doing that. So actually debating like this and thinking about topics that I would probably never think about normally day to day, really good. And I think that's the best thing about this, is that if people watch, it encourages other people to do the same.
Exactly. What do you think, Rachel?
Oh, God, I just tried to make sure I'm not falling off the chair. I'm getting short.
Make him move your bottom along.
No, his bottom is quite all right. Where it is. I'm wedged. What was that? What
do you think it's important, like projects like this, to make people talk a lot more?
I say it doesn't make people talk. It makes people think that they have a voice and somebody else is going to be interested in it, and also somebody takes notice because it's probably relative to them, because we're all different. We've all got different experiences, and so why not share them? So you know, nobody wants to share most of our experiences because we've all been through quite a lot. But if we can help somebody by sharing the odd little bit of advice, then it's all good, I think.
Exactly. What have you learned? This is the last question, really.
Okay.
What have you learned about yourself through the whole experience of Loose? Let's go to you first, Sandra, and Overton. What have you learned about yourself about the whole experience of Loose? Silence, Sandra Overton.
I don't think I've learned anything really. No, I can't say.
Talk no more.
Okay, let's move on. Sanjay.
Are we all frozen?
Sanjay Hero, what have you learned about yourself through the whole experience of Loose?
I don't know, because this is something I enjoy doing anyway. So I've learned that I can actually, you know, do this kind of thing, because I've done live tarot before. So you know, this kind of thing I enjoy doing. So I think I've just enjoyed making friends and talking about things. I don't know. I've learned that I can hold a debate.
Yeah, definitely. What about you, Claire? Have you learned anything about yourself through Loose?
I didn't like debates. I was the sitter on a fencer. Always have, especially in family. I was the sitter on a fencer. But this, it's like I say, I've met new friends and I can voice my opinion. it's not right, it's not wrong, it's my opinion. And I just think I need to do that more.
Wow, thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Claire. What about you, Kat? Have you learned anything through the whole Loose experience?
Not necessarily about, in depth about myself. I used to do, when I was younger, I did something called Generation 2015, which was sort of similar, but about politics. However, I have learned, particularly last week, that I can control a dog with my feet whilst on the call when it's trying to eat tea. And make it look like I'm not sort of like, having a panic about this dog who's trying to eat tea under my desk.
Oh, thank you for sharing. What about you, Sue Humphrey? Have you learned anything about yourself through the whole experience of Loose?
Yeah, I've learned how to turn my video on and off, and how to unmute myself.
What about you, Sue Craven? Apart from learning how to storm off camera and do it professionally,
yes, I've just, it's reminded me, which I think I've always done, but just listen to other people's opinions and don't say, oh, no, that's not right. Listen and be prepared to listen and to differ if need be. Mm-hmm. And I think, there's been both sides of arguments being put very well in lots of debates, and it makes you go away and think, oh, yes, I might change that. I might think that.
Yeah. What about you, Rachel? Has Loose changed you in any way?
It hasn't really changed me. It's made me appreciate other people's point of view. Sometimes you can be stuck, like with lockdown, where I met Loose Linc. I met it in lockdown and met the whole idea of Loose Linc in lockdown, and it did give me company. But it also made me realise there was other people out there as well feeling the same thing as me, and it was more company than anything. And then because I contacted you to say, where is it? Because I couldn't, and you said, oh, it's not on till so. I said, oh, I felt really quite perturbed that it wasn't on. They said, would you like to be a panellist? I thought, me, no. No, I wouldn't. Not really.
That was Claire Brown in me too. That was, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it.
But with the gobbiest ones out.
That brings us to the end of our Loose experience of season 2. Thank you for joining us. Don't relax too much at panellists, because there's a few more things to go through before we go. But before we leave, we are going to go silent for a second while we play to you the best of series 2. Hope you enjoy it.
Matt Hancock.
We'll not discuss Matt and my personal views on him personally, but she's received her notification.
Happy birthday, Claire!
Happy birthday!
Cheeky! So.
Yeah, I had a lovely day, thank you, and I'm not 50 yet.
I think survivor is actually a good word, because if you save somebody and they were drowning, they've survived, which is a good thing. They've made it.
Earn the prize, boyfriend. Yeah. Earn it, And she rang a tambourine, fingers please, and this little 2-year-old, 2 years, 2 months, did it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you had to stand out to be a woman? This is where I slightly disagree.
Oh, you would. If all else fails, you'll crash and drown. Nick, what was the next topic we were looking at?
Oh, Mike, it's so good to have you back.
No fears whatsoever. Why should we have?
Because if you gave your niece and nephew any kind of sausage growing up, they'd just like a sausage.
Yeah.
And there's now a Mr. England as well.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
There you go, Nick. Off you go.
Clara, let's go to you first.
I can't remember.
You can't?
Would it be a front room if it was in the back garden?
Well, it's my life. I've always been a bit backwards, Jason.
So I've turned to Loose Linc to give me that kind of je ne sais quoi.
Have you ever been stopped by someone and they've chatted to you and you don't have a bloody clue who they are?
Always.
Do you agree, Jason?
No.
And she said, I'll tell you something, girl. She said, a bar of chocolate's better than sex any day of the week.
And quite honestly, Nick, you're a bit of a Grinch, aren't you? It's bandied about too much saying, love you, see you later, love you. I don't love them.
I think we're the wrong panel for you tonight. I'm thinking about the action really. We're probably not free to put with you really with these questions.
She was only 26 when she passed, so you know she had so much time to go and see the world, and now I'm going to go do it for her.
Good for you. That's it. And she'll be with you every bit of the way.
Because I'm sure there's many people out there that do have to resort to turning their knickers inside.
4 days out of one pair you can get.
The good old days, Sue, the good old days.
How amazing was that? Thank you very, very much to Chris Clark, who created that and put that together. He spent hours doing that. Thank you very, very much. We are most appreciated. I'd like to personally thank, it's my chance to personally thank the big thank yous, really. And I just wanted to go through them all. First of all, I want to thank everybody that's worked behind the scenes on Loose Lincs, because believe me, it's not always easy, and it can be a full-time job, but we love it. But the people that have been behind that and working very hard to make sure that everything is sorted is Keris, Rachel Penny, Suzanne Paul, Anthony Walker, Kerry Gillespie, Darren Holt and Vicky Pearson. Thank you with all my heart for everything you have done to make sure Loose Linc rules and wins. Also, I'd like to thank every person that you see week in, week out, preparing to share their views with all of you. And that is, I have to go to the list, just bear with me. Joss Reese, Sandra Overton, Joe Lloyd, Molly Lavender, Rachel Penny, Heidi Matthews, Sanjay Hitwell, Mike Curtis, Darren Holt, Sue Humphrey, Claire Browning-May, Kerry Gillespie, Elaine Bilby, Jane Denham, Leon Fever, Suzanne Paul, Sue Craven, Adam Harrison, Mandy Stannard, Mandy Stannard, Anthony Walker, Kat Cornter, Chris Clark, Vicky Pearson, Jason Lambert, Dee Kelly, John Perry, Georgina Croshaw. You've all been absolutely incredible. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything you have done this last series, every debate you have joined. Also, I'd like to thank every Facebook viewer that have watched week in, week out. We salute you. Thank you for being part of this project, joining in with the polls, joining in with our discussion and making sure you have your say. Also, I'd like to thank every Instagram viewer, every Twitter viewer, every YouTube viewer, and everybody that watches us on Facebook. We thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts. It's been an incredible journey this last season, and we are getting bigger and better week after week. But it's all thanks to the people in front of you. Thank you for joining us. Make sure you join us for season 3 of Loose Lincs when we come back on. Let me just get my diary. Just bear with me. We come back. Series 3 comes back on. Look how unprepared I am here. Tuesday, the 7th of September. Make sure you are back with us as we've got Series 3 with a bit of a difference, but I'm keeping that quiet. The last and final thing, if we can give him a massive wave and a kiss, it is Mike Curtis's birthday today.
Oh.
Happy birthday, Mike!
Happy birthday, Mike!
Amazing day and enjoyed it so much. Make sure you join us for the next series. Can you thank my panel this evening? The Piers Morgan herself and the stand-up for Age UK is Sue Craven.
Good night,
everybody. The woman behind the rainbow, but always got a smile on the face, that's Claire Browning-May. The person that never is out with an animal within her hands, that's Cat Cornter. The person that will stand for every vegan in the country, and that's Sue Humphrey. The person that's still looking for the millionaire yacht, that's Sandra Overton. And the person that's come back with a smile on her face, that's Sam J. Hitwell. And the person that is thankfully wearing trousers this evening, and that's Rachel Penny. Thank you so much for joining us for season 3. It's been incredible. Thank you. Lots of loose love, and we'll see you in September. Take care. Bye.
Bye.